Here we have a session on monetizing the network with generative AI and 5G anywhere capabilities of AWS. We are trying to help telcos monetize from their huge investments. As you know, the 4G network with its technological capabilities gave birth to Uber and Lyft and such companies, the billion-dollar ideas. However, for 5G, we are still waiting for that killer use case. That's why AWS, with its partners Mavenir and Spirent, have come up with a unique solution to help telcos spin up a 5G network quickly and remove the barriers for developers so we can tap into the creative juices of the developers and create wonderful use cases. So how do we do that? In a very typical Amazonian fashion, you have infrastructure that you can build faster. You could have your data in a securely available in a private environment and have access to number of AWS services, including the productivity tools and generative AI like the Bedrock to do faster development and as well as do it at a very low cost. So the three things that developers need to invent those kind of killer use cases are an ability to create a 5G network and have ability to access the telecom network and also have the tools to actually use them. So if I'm a developer and I want to today create or come up with a killer use case, I really don't know where to start with. I mean, there are some individual marketplaces, there are some silo efforts, but it's not a very easy way for me to contribute to creating a new app, a killer app. So that's why AWS, with its partners Mavenir, who's providing the 5G core, and Spirent, who are providing us the simulation data, because telcos can't expose their data, all of us have come together and built an ecosystem where we have certain APIs available for the developers. And as they develop, we make their life also better. We provide them with Bedrock, the generative AI capabilities to quickly search for relevant information on how to code, and also provide Code Whisperer to generate the code faster, in a secure way, compliant to the organization. With this ecosystem, telcos can spin up this lab in days and weeks, not months, and then organize hackathons and tap into the developers' creative ideas and build that killer app that we are all waiting for. To how to do this, I would like to invite my colleague, Shobit, to take over for the rest of the demo.
Thanks, Vijay. Thanks for explaining all this detailed stuff. Now, this is what we are trying to demonstrate here. In this, we have set up a full 5G core network with the Mavenir 5G core elements, including NWDAF, which is a 5G core analytics function, and the APIs are exposed via NEF, which is a network exposure function. So now, this whole analytics data from 5G network is exposed via APIs to the developers so that they can develop a killer apps so that the CSPs can monetize on top of that. So what developers need is a network data, the assistance from the AWS services to develop app. So the network data is exposed via NEF and the developers can take help of AWS Code Whisperer to write codes and other AWS services like Bedrock so that they can get involved and their task is reduced by they just need to focus on the business logic rather than going and searching for the code to write. So they will get enabled and their task would be like shortened, the complexity would be less. So now we will show what use cases we have developed. So from here, we have developed a use case where UE mobility data would be captured from the 5G network. Suppose the UE is moving from one place to the other, the UE mobility data would be captured and it is available for the developers to consume and then they can develop an app. So we have developed an app, we will show you where. So now to extract mobility data, we have this API. So when we trigger this API towards the network, it will subscribe to the UE mobility and the UE mobility data would be available to the user every time the UE changes its location. So these types of codes can be generated with the help of Code Whisperer. We can show you how. Like if I can write a post query, for example, So you see a lambda function, and if I put it here, it will try to suggest me all the changes which I need to do. So it will try to create a template, and as soon as I try to like do tab, it will try to suggest me what I need to do if I need to get a mobility data. So these are the APIs which can be used to extract the network data with the help of the code whisperer. Now coming back, there is another solution which we have developed with the help of AWS Kendra, where you can do a semantic search for a person who is like who is new to the environment, and they want to know like how to start a Spirent script. So from here, what we are trying to do is do the semantic search to help developers to know the details from the network. Like for example, if you want to know how to start a Spirent script or how to get a UE mobility data. So if we want to do a kind of a conversational search, because these may be a technical term for the developers, and the developers who is not from the telco background may find it hard. So it is like a simple semantic search in a normal conversational language. We can ask the system to provide like how to write a post body, or how do I get a UE mobility data of the current location. So the system will search the documentation, the correct documentation, and it will return you all the specific APIs, the documentation and everything. So this is what we have developed to monetize a 5G network by developing a killers app with the help of the infrastructure, the 5G network that is available, and the services that can benefit the developers. So from here, like exposing the network data, providing assistance to the developers who can develop those apps, and like giving assistance with the help of generative AI, where they need not to focus on to the codes, rather than they need to bring the business logic and develop those apps. Thank you.